Okay. Oh, good. Hold on. Okay. It looks like things are working. And if they don't keep working, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Hello. Welcome. My fonts are broken. By which I mean my fonts are perfectly fine everywhere other than OBS, which is a very minor issue. More importantly, we have actually gotten the correct starting screen, so I do want to talk about this a little bit. My address bar overlay is definitely not going like it was last time. If you want to know the reason for that wire bone, not only is it a font problem, but if I change the font, get a load of this shit. Get a load of this deliciousness. I don't know what's happening. It's like the stream has been possessed by the devil. And that's my best guess. So if anybody has something fun that they want me to put there instead, let me know. But as of right now, all those fun little things are borked. Also, my eyes are incredibly dry, which is like one of the least significant things that have happened to me today. I've had like a really bad day, but then I had like a really good day where my partner like drew up a bath and made me like a charcuterie board. And if you don't know this about me, submerging myself in water is very good, and also acts of kindness and generosity, very good. So real up and down. 4th year streaming, by the way. Yeah, it's been incredible. It's been an incredible run of streaming, and I definitely expect to do a lot more of it, he said, actively wiping his incredibly dry eyes, having a stream that doesn't 100% work, and on his 3rd stream of the game talking about the title splash screen, because that's just how we roll here. Specifically, if you guys don't remember, the previous splash screen also has Morgan with a cigarette, and that is significant specifically for the demo. Episode 0, it plays a major role and component. We did actually already see this splash screen when David Ashore had passed. This was the scene that informed us that Morgan was feeling something, which obviously it is not a normal Google search Morgan Rule 34. Nope, that's perfect. Why not? I also will get to Morgan Rule 34. Does anyone know if there's actually anything on Rule 34 from Of the Devil? There simply must be. There simply must be, because I can't imagine a world in which that isn't the case. I downloaded a specific font to use Google search. Nope. It literally will not use any font that isn't Times New Roman or Arial. So Arial it is, I guess. Google search Morgan Rule 34. There you go. Hold on. It's simply not worth the amount of effort for the gag, but also I have nothing there right now, so it makes me feel slightly better. Okay. And we go. So I wanted to talk about the splash screen specifically because I do believe that you can use title screens and menus to like convey a lot of significant information. And I did specifically want to talk about like obviously and presumably with each subsequent episode that they release, they will choose or create a new screen. Obviously with things like menu elements for the buttons, those are all the same. But the thing that I think is really telling about this particular shot is there's something there's something about the body language here, about the bolo tie being undone, about the entire like layout and body language, which suggests a element of obviously disheveled, right? Like obviously the bolo tie is undone. The cigarette itself, we know, doesn't necessarily convey what we think it's going to convey. Although I can't imagine that they would do the same trick twice in a row. But there's definitely something. There's definitely something here that suggests not being guarded, right? And if we wanted to be literally paranoid about the subject, the fact that Morgan is by a window is saying a lot, right? Wherever Morgan is, she's feeling safe enough that like she's not worried about like being pushed out of the window. She's not worried about people on the outside looking in. Whatever is happening here, she is feeling a relative sense of security that the additional vulnerability of being very close to being defenestrated isn't actually impacting her. We don't get too much off of the eye line because the eye line is obviously going off screen, and she's looking at something that we can't see. Ostensibly as the subway, tramway, vehicle that is suspended in air is going past. That is actually in eye line. And obviously we know from actually properly playing the game that there is a lot of, golly gee, my eyes are incredibly dry. I've also added a new camera directly in front of me, so that way you guys can see my face, because my lighting has received some friendly criticism. So there is more light per square inch of my face than there has been in the times past. But okay. But we don't get, I think, nearly as much off of this as we got from episode 0 if we're talking about Morgan herself. Now, one of the things that is interesting, only because we've gone a little bit further into episode 1, is the like alcohol that is on this little tray. And the reason why I say that is because it feels pretty identifiably like Jack Daniels, right? And first of all, Jack Daniels, oh, okay. What I should say it is some flavor of relatively cheap whiskey, I presume. Now, people who know more expensive whiskeys, feel free to let me know that I am incorrect and that there are very expensive, very high quality whiskeys that look like that. But from me, and the time that I have spent in life consuming alcohol, that just looks like a bottle of Jack Daniels to me, which is relevant to this conversation because when we were talking about the liquor that David Assure kept in his basement, they both talked, Morgan was talking about how there was some really cheap liquor from their university days. So that maybe carries more significance than we necessarily assumed at first blush. Other than that, though, I think there isn't too much to take from this, other than obviously a dynamic screen. Again, that use of smoke, which gives this like polka dot effect in the background as the smoke moves, which I think is really cool. And a lot of red tones, which makes sense for red. Okay, let's rock and roll. What did we do last time? We did not touch the android's tits because we did not try the Chobits activation method. And I still think that was actually the correct choice to make for what it's worth. So seems we got off track there, Sarah. Was there anything else David told you to relate to me? Right, sorry. Okay, so David Assure is dead. David Assure is the genius behind the company, Noble. Noble occupies the position of the company because of its incredible technology behind automated dependents. Automated dependents are androids, robots, virtual desks, all of that sort of stuff, which constitutes and creates the society in which everyone is living in at this time. in the year 2086, 2069, the year which is, I cannot remember the time. You know what's really frustrating is that we literally were told the exact day. Hold on. There's no way. It's not going to let us go back far enough. We literally got the date from, yeah, and I have instantly forgotten it. Starling. Jessica Starling, yes. But the year is later. So, okay. Seems we got off track there, Sarah. Was there anything else David told you to relay to me? Besides that you were to look after me. He also told me that you were reliable and that I should trust you. He said that I was to listen to you and obey your instructions. So last stream, we got a sort of glimpse into Morgan's more tragic origin. Specifically when Sarah says, "Do you know why you were created?" There were a series of flashbacks for Morgan and perhaps people yelling at Morgan, people yelling around Morgan. But I don't know that we've gotten anything to necessarily convey that Morgan is not the worst. Finally, some good news. As you say, Adonai. What's that? That word you called me? What was that? Adonai, from classical Hebrew. Translated literally, it means my lord. Damn, okay. Do you prefer that I call you master? No. Very good, Adonai. Gonna just have to write some more notes down, by which I mean absolutely zero notes, because I have not actually written down a single pertinent note, but you get it. Why'd David use Hebrew, though? Abrahamic myth tells of servants constructed out of earth and clay, designed to resemble and obey their masters. Golems. There you go. Golems. Father must have found the comparison appropriate. Amusing, more likely. It's just a joke. Father would not make light of such a thing. Sure he would. Perhaps we should ask him to clarify his reasoning for himself. Where is Father, by the way? Is he upstairs? When was the last time you were active? 38 hours ago. Thursday night, then. And we know it's been 2 days since David Ashore gave the instructions to Jessica Starling that Morgan was to receive whatever the contents of the safe were. Correct. Right. David Ashore is dead. He died last night. Understand? Oh. May I see him? See him? No, I won't be able to see him. Funeral's probably not for a few days. Father was not. He was not sick. Yeah, we haven't gotten a cause of death yet, but there seems to be some sort of undertones, maybe overt tones that it is assumed to be a suicide. I don't feel like doing the whole song and dance with 2 robots in one day. You didn't do the song and dance with 1 robot, Morgan. You told the virtual desk to, like, shut up. That's very charming, but let's go to commands only. What? What happened? Did he have an accident? Why is it still doing the theatrics? Does it not recognize my authority yet? The police have determined that he committed suicide. For the time being, we ought to focus on getting you properly registered. Maybe then you'll take commands the first time I say them and not. The police are wrong. Excuse me? They are wrong. Father did not commit suicide. He would never do such a thing. Father had. He told me. Look, Sarah. I'm sorry? Sorry, I should not. This song choice in response to this is wild. You're sorry. Father said you were his friend. How are you so calm? I've been around death a lot. So don't try to lecture me about grief, Spearmint. My name is Sarah. You will use it because my father, Dr. David Ashore, the greatest programmer in the world, gave it to me. And he did not kill himself. Okay. Let's say you're right. David didn't commit suicide. If that's the case, the police will realize that soon enough. The police have already made their determination. That's what you just said. Father said that you were a lawyer, that you were capable and reliable. Damn, Sarah. Okay. And a friend. You should be looking into his death. I mean, okay, I don't know that that's necessarily the purview of a lawyer, but I suppose lawyers do discovery, so. That's... Is that an order? Of course not. It is a request, Adonai. A request that I'll have to refuse. The police have their job, and I have mine. If I stick my nose into their investigation any further, they'll come down on me hard. Also, does it help that Morgan doesn't want to be under any additional scrutiny, right? Cops don't like lawyers on principle, but what they really hate are people who tell them how to do their job. Let's go. We need to... Father asked you to look after me. Yeah, he did. He also said you should obey me, but you don't seem quite as fixated on that part. And he said something else. Is Sarah about to lie? He said that you owed him a favor. One favor. The thin ice starts here, Spearmint. That was between him and me. Father is gone, so now it is between you and I. And I am calling in the favor now. Is the favor not looking after you? What? You don't have to take care of me anymore. Consider that request null and void. Okay. You can sell me to some collector, or you can donate me to a university. It doesn't matter. In exchange, you will prove Father didn't kill himself, and you will make sure that whoever hurt him is held accountable. Hello, 4 Elemental. It's good to see you. And hey, Shay Fairy. The idea of making a deal with the devil right? Like, and like, you know, arguably, how much of the devil is Morgan versus Morgan being sort of like a Faustian pact like analog. But like this music and Sarah being like, I'm calling in my like one bargaining chip and I'm using it now on you. It's very good. Why are you laughing? It's you and me, not you and I. You and me. David would roll over in his grave if he knew you'd gotten that wrong. What? No, it isn't. It's you and I. Right? You and me? No, it's you and I. It was not my intention to amuse or rotate. No, that's for damn sure. Fine, I'll take that deal, Sarah. You mean you will prove that father did not? I mean, I'll look into it. I'm a lawyer. I don't prove anything. I just disprove what I can. Then where do we start? We? I didn't realize you had a law degree. I do not have a law degree, but I am a fast learner. And in this moment, a sort of analog for the audience. This isn't a job interview. And I am far from useless. I can... The ad did raise at least one good question. Where do I start? I'm a defense attorney, not a police detective, and David was my friend, not my client. I won't be able to poke around at all unless... And I am also capable of... Can you tell a lie? Hell yeah. I am capable of making statements that are false. Guess that'll have to do. Hell yeah. Okay. Okay, very good. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Are you going to ask me to lie? Yes. To the police, in fact. Lying to the police is a felony. Androids don't commit felonies, they make errors. I see. What kind of error did you have in mind, Adonai? 2086. I was not that far off. Did I remember the year correctly? Are you sure about this? You have questions too, don't you? Right now, I'm just a little better equipped to get answers than you are. Okay, go for it. I'll make sure they're watching. Is the air quality at Noble headquarters kept up to state standards? What's that? All these Noble employees seem to have asthma. Was father also working under such poor conditions? All Noble employees have asthma? Oh, no. It's a stimulant? They don't have asthma. Then why are they all carrying inhalers? All right. Fucking here we go. Inhaler corporate use showing results for adrosone inhalers. First legalized in 2083, so only 3 years ago. The stimulant sold under the name Adrosone has since become one of the most... First legalized in 2083, the stimulant sold under the name Adrosone has since become one of the most widely used drugs in the corporate world as a Class 2 stimulant of least concern. What is a class? Is a Class 1 stimulant of least concern the least concerning or the most concerning? As a Class 2 stimulant of least concern, employees of any corporation in good standing with the Bureau of Narcotics Oversight can have access to Adreshone without a prescription so long as their HR representative feels it would be beneficial to their work performance. Insane. Workplace Adreshone, as it is sometimes called, is dispensed through biomonitor enhanced inhalers that automatically detect overdoses and keep track of possible habit formation. Automatic safety levels may be adjusted at supervisor's discretion. It's just like literally the like model employee, like it obviously not only is it the same universe because we've got the confirmation on Tethia's Corp, but also, god damn. Unsubstantiated claims that Adreshone was first invented as a purely recreational drug by the notoriously violent Skullhead Mafia caused enough of a stir that in 2083 a formal investigative committee was formed. Unfortunately, in 2084, an industrial hydrogen fuel accident resulted in the deaths of all 391 known Skullhead members, placing the investigation at an indefinite standstill. Fair enough. Good question. It's definitely corporate double speak, right? It's like, it's just vague enough that they can say it in any direction whenever they need to. So, Adroxone. Sure. I'd believe that as much as any other pronunciation. There have been some that have been phonetically spelled out, so potentially, Adroxone, sure. So that sounds more like a drug to you? Fair enough. Yeah, how unfortunate. Oh no. Yes, ma'am. She's right over here. Here's the problem. Now, this is Toxic Yuri Ace Attorney. So I'm not allowed to feel anything other than joy. Is it Emma Rockford? Is that her last name? I cannot remember. I cannot feel anything other than joy about Emma's existence. Am I withholding lust? That is not the emotion I am withholding. Let's put it this way. If I want to experience Schadenfreude by watching Morgan experience the consequences of her actions, Emma is not the vehicle by which I want to experience Schadenfreude. Oh, God. Oh, it's you. Oh, it's you. Did I mess up? On the contrary. Meg? Eyes wide. She's a DA. Quiet. Oh, okay. These are just noble employees, sure. She succeeded spectacularly in getting Noble's ears perked up. Emma Rockford! It is. Okay. February 13th. We don't know her weight. Blood type O positive, so she can donate blood to anyone who is a positive. So A, B, A, B. Assistant district attorney, likes milk tea, white noise, black lace, dislikes artificial sweeteners, dislikes home remedies. Okay, sure. Reads true crime, bodice rippers, yeah. Best at getting the staff's attention, worst at deciding what to order. So, like, Rockford, we know, is, like, on to Morgan, right? Actually, do I know? Wait, Morgan is her last name, that's right, okay. Oh, man. Not, yeah, fair enough for Elemental. Not onto her, because if she was onto her, it would be, well, like, episode 0 ends with Emma, like, dismantling the situation when Morgan is like at her ultimate smug. It's anyways, it's fine. Emma Rockford. Didn't think I'd run into you here. Yeah, didn't think I'd be here either. But the powers that be think my presence sends a strong message to the Megs, so... No, wait. What are you doing here? A few minutes later. I see. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you for saying that. And thank you, Detective Reyes, for your many kind words. Oh, Farah. Date of birth, October 19th, weight, 63 kilograms, height, 162 centimeters, blood type A negative, so she can donate blood to A positive and A negative. Occupation, homicide detective, 3rd class. Did we get Kasim London? Yeah, homicide detective, 1st class. So we haven't really gotten a homicide detective 2nd class, but fair. Likes chewing gum, sports drinks, biking, dislikes babysitting, audiobooks, man-spreading. Room for cats. Relaxed when shopping for groceries. I think maybe Reyes is the criminally psychotic. Hold on, wait a second. Struggles with remembering lyrics. Fair. Default status, do not disturb. Very fun. Okay. We can't all be as talkative as you. Normally, quoting poetry would feel pretentious, but you were so genuine in your reading. Bite me. Shopping for groceries is very relaxing because you know food is on the table. Fair enough. I think perhaps, here's the thing, right? With cyber desks and all of that stuff in the year 2086, perhaps the shopping experience has been made better. I had to have too much human interaction sometimes, you know what I mean? And it's good to see you, Top Hat. Hey, hey. I don't know that there's a need for all that. Very mature, detective. Did you come up with that yourself? Oh, no, that's Kaguya's signature pose? Like the pop star? I don't know what you're talking about. You can admit it if you do. Well, there's nothing to admit because I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who that is. Wait, now you know, now you're saying you don't know who Kaguya is. She's the most famous... Kaguya is the stage name of a singer-songwriter known for her powerful voice and her stage persona's intricately crafted lore. Is this a VTuber? After releasing a blitz of chart-topping singles, a quadruple platinum album, and a bevy of cultural reset music videos in just the last 3 years, she has come to be considered the leading living figure in the pop music and popular culture realm. Kaguya's official age is listed as 1,086 years old. She released her first single, Orbit, in 2083, 3 years ago again, which went on to peak at number 1 on the Billboard Top 100, the Rubicon Digital Singles Chart, and the Niate music video streaming tracker, making it one of the fastest-selling singles in history. Personal details on the pop star remain scarce, and protecting her anonymity has become a core part of her fan culture. When a retired facial analysis expert claimed that her stage makeup was formulated specifically to make facial recognition on her impossible, a representative for her record company met with press to clarify that she is simply a private person who wants her fans to enjoy the experience that is Kaguya's voice. Users also frequently searched for Kaguya lore explained, Kaguya iceberg explained. Oh, iceberg videos are fun. Kaguya Lunatropic tour tickets, where to buy. Fair enough. Huh. Yeah, well, I just don't know who that is, so... Ma'am. Weren't you about to say something? Oh, well, I'm still surprised to see you here now, Morgan. Are you helping plan the services? Actually, the company will be planning Dr. Assure's funeral service. Wouldn't his family want to take care of that? No. 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 I see. Sorry. But if that's the case, why are you here, Morgan? Ah. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry to disrupt your morning. Hey, you're here for the same reason as every other suit they've got crawling around. Money. You're not wrong. There are a lot of annoying insects with annoying agendas scurrying around before my friend's body is even cold. But the honest truth is, I don't even know if David had a will. The company helps him manage his estate. Legal is probably already on it. Actually, judging by how much coffee that intern is carrying into the elevator, I'm certain they are. Right, so if you're not here for the funeral or the reading of the will... Miss Starling asked me to come here, actually, on a matter unrelated to David's passing. An unrelated matter? That's convenient, isn't it? But now that I am here, it's come to my attention that the police have made a determination in the case of David's death. And where did you hear that? London, my boy. Am I mistaken? No, you're right. They concluded that it was a suicide. Can always count on her to be blunt. I was worried about that. Yeah, I'm sure you must be feeling... Because I'm going to have to contest that charge. Is it because suicide is a crime? Your bias, you did 10 years in a grocery store. Thank you for your service, Mesfia. Ado is an IRL Japanese singer who retains complete anonymity too, but the stage makeup idea is really cool. Yeah, facial recognition technology and like something that can scramble that is conceptually interesting for sure. Okay. Let's see where she goes. What? The state has made a charge. I'm arguing against it. The hell are you talking about? The police believe David committed suicide. Suicide is a felony in this country, detective. So... It's good. It is technically a crime to commit suicide, yes, but we're not in the habit of bringing dead men to trial. Especially not for their own murder, Morgan. No, not to trial, of course not. But there would be a preliminary hearing in a case like this, and so then Morgan can do discovery. Preliminary hearing. Noun, a court proceeding that considers whether or not there is sufficient evidence to go to trial. A preliminary hearing is a step in the criminal court process in which a judge or jury will evaluate whether there exists sufficient evidence to justify a trial. Between security systems. Okay, so this is the definition, this is the takeaway. Between security systems, personal devices, biomonitors, IoT, which we know stands for Internet of Things, crumbs, automated dependents, and mods, it is extremely rare in modern times for the people's evidence of a crime to be found lacking, making preliminary hearings somewhat of a formality that is frequently sidestepped without protest from the defense. technically as a formality, assuming the courts aren't busy that day. I'm afraid that on this occasion, I'm going to have to insist on formality. Yeah, well, you really don't have much say in the matter, do you? With David gone, I have the only say, really. I am, after all, his criminal attorney. All that money and he needs his drinking buddy to be his attorney? Bullshit. I'm also skeptical, Morgan. It's a pretty serious conflict of interest to be your friend's defense attorney. You're absolutely right. It is a conflict of interest, and I would have said as much to him if I had the chance. What do you mean? I only found out that he wanted me to be his attorney today. After he died? How the hell did you miss that memo? Embarrassing, isn't it? But to be fair, it was hidden pretty well. Oh, I didn't know you had an android, Morgan. It's cute. Look at how pleased Sarah is with that compliment. Thanks, but it's actually David's, and it's technically my witness. Witness to what? 38 hours ago, that is, David Assure communicated to me, as a matter of record, the following explicit legal intent. The idea? Oh! Okay, so, I generally speaking have problems with games that try and have some sort of like persuasion or argument structure gamified. And the reason for that is not a lot of people understand like true formation of an argument. And in the interest of fairness, it's not terribly interesting. It's like studying knowledge. It's like very like esoterically complex, but also terrible party conversation. And so what's happening here is that there is an underlying assumption. There is a warrant, not a legal warrant, but a logical warrant. That is that the androids, the ads, do exactly what you program them to do. And so because of this, that Sarah is therefore like a legitimate legal aid. Like it's like an invention of lying situation, which is like, oh, very good here. That in the case of any and all criminal charges brought against him by the state, his attorney would be Evangeline Morgan. We know Morgan's first name. Wait. Evangeline? Typically, we love the splash screens. Okay. No, wait, seriously? Your name's Evangeline? Did your parents name you after a Christmas carol? Should we all be curtsying? It's not that funny. No, of course not. Nothing to be embarrassed about, Evangeline. Or do your friends call you Angel? I hear Kaguya's on tour, Detective. Should I get you tickets? You could have your dad drive you like all the other 15-year-olds. Hey. Feels like we're getting off topic. What were we just... I was telling you that David Assure wanted her to be his criminal defense attorney. Imagine my surprise. Okay, so here we go. An android's recording of a verbal expression of intent isn't exactly ironclad, Morgan. That's fair. And if we were going before an upper-level court, I would expect that to be open to all kinds of scrutiny. But we're talking about a preliminary hearing. A formality, as you called it. If he asks for representation, he deserves representation. Doesn't matter whether he's dead or alive. Am I missing something? What difference does it make? Not even an adjutant would be obtuse enough to sentence a dead man. We're not getting a term for adjutant? If I remember correctly, adjutant just means like administrator. It's like a bureaucratic term, right? The like horrible robot thing that like in StarCraft that's for Terrans, that's referred to as the adjutant, right? No, there won't be a sentence, but the adjutant will render a verdict, and verdicts have consequences even for the deceased. Is that what this is about? What's she getting at? If the court agrees this was a suicide, that verdict will retroactively affect evaluations of the individual's mental health. Like, whether he was in his right mind or not? You know anything about estate tax law, detective? No. But I'm sure you'll be happy to educate me. More than happy. An individual found by a court to not be of sound mind can't very well give their consent to the lawyer drawing up their will. And if his will is compromised, all of David's considerable assets would suddenly be thrown into legal limbo. In which case, the state would be legally obligated to come in and pick up the pieces. So this is just about his money? I'm almost disappointed in you, Morgan. Well, when you take into consideration all the factors, it's actually more complicated than that. For example... Never mind. No, Starling, you should speak your mind. All I mean to say is that while Dr. Ashur did have significant holdings in art, real estate, and intellectual property, he also, of course, owned a great deal of stock in numerous corporations, principally Noble. If he was ruled to not be of sound mind, and his shares were to end up acquired by the government, Noble would suffer a serious blow to its commercial image and its standing in the financial community. All of which is to say, there's a great deal at stake here. Not the least of which is the reputation of a man whom I was proud to call my friend. You're not buying this, are you? In case you haven't noticed, the city is working closely with Noble on this, and they're not going to let you bring them any unwanted attention. Uh-oh. Starling did her part. They're watching, and they've stopped trying, and they're stopped trying to hide it. From here on out, it's a gamble. I hate gambling. Gambling is a sucker's game. Noble Electronics already has unwanted attention. Why are you raising your voice? If nothing changes, by the end of day, the whole country's gonna hear how David Ashur committed suicide. By midnight, there will be questions about his competency. Concerns about why the brain inside every single Noble ad was built by an apparently unstable man. The shareholders will have nothing to do all Sunday but brood over that sad thought and all its disturbing implications. By the time the markets reopen on Monday, I would expect a great deal of volatility. I like the idea that like a side quest exclamation mark is popping up over their heads. That's so. I understand Noble's apprehension, of course, Emma. I just feel like right now, the fiscally conservative thing to do would be to not get in my way. So you've got your reasons, and Noble's got a lot to think about. But why should the district attorney's office devote valuable time to playing out this game of yours? Because they're certain they'll win. That goes without saying. What was it? Like Emma has like a 97% success rate against Morgan or something? The courts should have an opening at 6 p.m. I didn't have anything planned. Then it's a date. Detective, would you get her clearance set up? Hell yeah. Is this what flirting looks like in 2086? Yes, ma'am. Updates every hour, yeah? You're out on a limb, Morgan. Better not linger. Yeah. Oh, I forgot she had a mod in her eye. Clearance for all the relevant sites and police firewalls. You can interview and investigate with your authority as an officer of the court now. If you haven't already been doing that, don't even think about being sloppy with discovery on this. Rockford might think you're funny, but I appreciate the warnings, Detective Reyes. It's nice to know you care. I live to serve and protect. Thanks for the assist, Starling. Yeah, no sweat. Are all cops like that? Or are they more like that Detective London gentleman? Most are like her, most are like him. And again, we get that visual cue that as we hover over one option, the other option becomes faded, knowing that we're locked out of it. Kasim London is, like, canonically very unique, right? Am I crazy in that? Like, he's a detective first class for a reason? I'm gonna say most are like her. They're mostly like that, yes. They're all that intense? Yes, it comes from being short. And most cops are short? Yes. Right. Well, I'll see you at the courthouse tonight. If you need anything in the meantime, don't be afraid to ask. Good luck. Both of you. What do we do now? Well, I have a few options. I have access to the crime scene now, probably the best place to start. I'd like to head over to the company building as well. To get me registered, among other things. Either David killed himself or he didn't. But if he did, it's almost certainly his asshole corporate overlords who are to blame. In which case, I'll want to take my sweet time raking them over the coals. What are you doing? Nothing. What about father? When can we see him? Was she just mimicking Morgan's, like, physical gestures? He'll be at the morgue by now. The medical examiner will speak to me now that I'm operating under the court's authority. But if I stop to flash paperwork at every nurse and security guard with nothing better to do than ask questions... I'll hop to... What's that look for? You were father's friend. Thank you, again, for reminding me. Aren't there people you'd like to speak with? Other friends who'd want to know? Bad news travels fast. I'm sure everyone in the country has heard about David by this point. But all that heartbreak shit did keep me pretty occupied these last few weeks. And I was never one to pry. If there was someone who could tell me more about David's personal life over the last several months, it'd be worth the effort of finding them. Which, okay, so we have some sort of, like, information that David's family doesn't care for David for some reason, despite him being a massively successful super personality. Do you have someone in mind? Maybe someone he met recently? He spoke about becoming close with someone this year, a musician. Oh my fucking god, is it gonna be the moon lady, Kaguya? Now that you mention it, there was a something that David might have mentioned when we talked back in... I will begin a search. I've completed my search. I found nothing. Thanks for the old college try. Is that really the best you can do? Father was a private man, in person and online. With just a few letters and the fact that he was a musician, I'm afraid we don't have enough information to narrow down the results, Adonai. No, we have plenty of information. We just need the right person for the job. What kind of person is that? Are we about to go talk to Reyes again? Time date expunged. Okay. Precinct 112. Is that Kasim and Reyes's? Detainment room 001. And who would you even have called? I don't know this one. Wait, do I know this one? Is this the, like, hacker kid who was, like, texting Morgan in episode 0? Who is this? Who is this lost, sassy Victorian child? I don't know. But I still should have gotten my phone call. Instead, I got you. Who are you again? My latest guardian? New foster parent? Want me to call you mommy? I'm not really the motherly type. Hey, yo, we might actually get along. So I've got good news and bad news. I'm not your guardian, I'm your lawyer. You've been given a lawyer because you're being charged with a felony. Fascist pigs. Skipping school's a felony now? Hacking into a government database has been a felony for a very long time. That was me. They have your keystrokes, your IP address, your login times, and the playlist you were listening to. That was for a homework assignment. Here's what I don't get. You got in, copied the data, could have gotten right out. State wouldn't even know they'd been robbed until they saw their passwords show up on black market clearance 2 weeks later. But you didn't get out. You stayed and made changes to their database. You robbed the bank, got clean money, then dragged a can of spray paint behind you all the way home. Why? Look, I didn't steal anything. That wasn't already compromised. And the only data I edited was my own. So if anything, they should be thanking me for correcting their mistakes. What, did they get your birthday wrong? My name. Name changes are only 2 pages of paperwork. You just need to fill out the form. And get a signature from a parent or a guardian. So, what's the good news then? The good news is that I'm your lawyer, not your guardian. The hell? That doesn't count as good news, that's just the thing you said. Don't be so sure. A lawyer's a lot better than a guardian. How's that? Parents, guardians, foster whatevers, they're all supposed to take care of you because it's the right thing to do. A lawyer is someone who always does what's best for you, no matter what, because that's how they get paid. So how good are you at your job? Okay. Heads up that ads are about to start playing in 5 minutes. You know the drill. We go through the ads now because we're doing a much shorter stream. So if you are interested in, seeing through the ad break, the best option there is to be subscribed. But in the event that you're not, don't worry. The VOD will be available, and I will eventually move all of these over to YouTube. Everything is a little bit of a train wreck on the backside, so. Hello, mon coeur. It's pronounced core. I know how it's pronounced. And don't call me that. When I met Fran in that police station, I couldn't help but bet that I'd landed the jackpot. Did we know her name was Fran? I knew she was a horrid little gremlin, but a valuable asset with a skill set complementary to my own personal and private pursuits. Interesting, okay. Someone who, after seeing the sweetheart probation deal I managed to land for them, would be more than happy to help me with whatever I need, whenever I need it. Francois Snow. Date of birth, September 20th. Height, 158 centimeters, 51 kilograms, blood type O positive, so they can donate blood to any of the positives. A, B, etc. Fran is gender ambiguous. Oh shoot, did I gender them? Occupation, student. Hacker, but don't put that down, obviously. Likes haptics, haptic feedback. Synth music, cinnamon toast. Dislikes, teachers, politicians, adults, cops, alarm clocks. Does not dislike lawyers. Values, rarity, originality, history, vibes. To be young again. Favorite subject, none. Worst subjects, literature, social studies, athletics. Okay. Nice. In case you didn't know what a cur was. Always so cold, Fran. Can't I even get a good morning? No such thing. Nothing good's ever happened until the afternoon when people are actually awake. What I got instead was a compulsive lawyer with a horrific sleep schedule and a crippling addiction to poor time management. Sometimes that's your guy in the chair. What do you want, Red? I can't call you up just for fun. Not if you don't want to get blocked. I need you to find somebody for me. Can't do it. I've got homework. We both know the only time you ever do your own homework is during the class it's due. And I've got sports. You can't tell a basketball from a hockey stick. And I got a bidding war to win. You're the only person on Earth bidding on 70-year-old... Is that supposed to be Gucci? But it cannot be 70-year-old Gucci. It cannot be that Fran is betting on 70-year-old Gucci and Air Jodan vintage reps. Fran. What's wrong with Gucci? I can't tell if you're joking or not. I'll make a skeet on Blue Sky about it later. I think you can take your eyes off the auction block. So yeah, so sorry, but I'm busy, so... I was hoping we could skip straight to the carrot portion of the routine, but if you insist on doing things from the top... Huh? I had an interesting conversation with your parole officer yesterday. Oh, yeah? They've been really into the self-prefixes lately. What? Self-motivation, self-actualization, self-help. Oh. And he thinks you could really benefit from it. You're lying. He's got all the workbooks ready. Clearly, your Saturdays are stacked, so I'll make sure your Sundays are full of fine, I get it. I need you to find a local musician. Musician? Knowing you, this will be electro swing or some other awful... Whoa, Fran! What's wrong with electro swing? Last name Powell or Parker? And that's all you got. They'll be in David Assure's circles. Wait, Assure? You're working that? That should be more than enough for a clever kid like yourself to go on. Don't go expecting any miracles. I need this soon. Within the hour, ideally. Within the... You know I have other clients, don't you? Other clients who actually pay you on time? A musician. Find him. Okay. Even talking over the phone, you're very animated, Adonai. What do you mean? Just that you're very expressive when you talk to people. Oh my god! Is this because Morgan had to learn her facial expressions? Because she's, Of course I'm expressive. If I wasn't, how would anyone know what I'm thinking? Oh my god, that's so good. I see. I'll keep that in mind as we Wait, you really expect to tag along? Of course. Father was, yeah, I know you want to, but why should I let you? Because I am capable and helpful. Oh, Sarah. Uh-huh. I mean it. I can take notes for you. I have the minutes. It's very important that I am on the stenography machine. And I can move heavy objects. And I'll learn to do more. How? I will subject every individual we encounter to a piece to procure biographical information on them while I gain experience in questioning. Subjecting them to torture? I can help, Adonai. How fast can you fill out forms? Fast. Congratulations, you're halfway to being a paralegal. Very funny. Oh, damn. So Sarah, date of birth, August 29th, height 160 centimeters, weight almost 200 kilograms, blood type. I assume that's U for universal, and then AD, automated dependent, occupation, unemployed, paralegal? There's no way Morgan pays her. Likes martial arts, carbonation, collarbones. Dislikes static, blackouts, elevators. Talents. I'm good at a lot of things. Skills. I'm not sure how skills differ from talents. I also like the 180-degree rule. What is the 180-degree rule? You coming? Right away, Adonai. 11:45 a.m., July 1st, 2086. Noble Employee Housing Building. Placia. Is that a blood thing? It's a blood thing, right? Excuse me. Penthouse dining room. Pretty quiet elevators, huh? Dining room. You could have taken the next one. It's a busy building, detective. Can't hold up everyone else on our account. Anything you'd like to grumble at me before I start? Don't touch anything. I don't care that you're wearing gloves. I have been to crime scenes before, you know. Google says Placia means wide road. Is it not a blood thing? Huh. Long before the police get there, in many cases. Hey, heartbreak killer. Look, Rockford asked me not to get in your way, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna bend over for you. Do you at least have the autopsy report? No. Are you seriously? I don't. He doesn't? The report should have come in hours ago. It wouldn't take this long unless the cause of death was still... Then I'd settle for a summary of the preliminary findings. An emergency call was made shortly after 8 p.m. last night via the home security system. Okay. Emergency medical services had a VTOL in the air within the minute. They landed on the penthouse's helipad at 8:08. Hold on. Via the home security system. So wait, is that the same thing as like some sort of internal monitoring system made the emergency call? Like, oh, someone inside of me is dying? Or is it who placed the call? Dr. Assure was found unconscious with low blood pressure and a weak heartbeat. He wasn't breathing. Oh, Sarah. In-flight auto-triage administered artificial CPR while in transit to Gatesfield Memorial. He was declared dead a few minutes after being taken to the emergency wing. I see. And the cause of death is... being investigated. Make an educated guess. He stopped breathing, so they gave him oxygen. His heart stopped pumping, so they had the machines take over. His brain activity dropped to 0, and there wasn't anything else they could do. My money is still on David Ashore is not dead. My money is on they found a very realistic fake body double. It was poison, wasn't it? Is Sarah lying? Did Sarah poison him? Like, what's happening? What kind? You don't know, do you? Ah, they don't know either. Like I said, ma'am, we don't have the autopsy report yet. Why are you certain it was poison, Adonai? Couldn't it have been an accidental overdose? If he had overdosed on a commercial drug, even a pre-med student would have spotted it on the hospital's intake screening. They would have been able to pump his stomach, neutralize his bloodstream, and he would have lived. But he didn't live. So it must have been something deadly, a compound designed solely to kill. A fast-acting, deadly poison that causes respiratory failure. The list can't be that long. Even just through process of elimination, the medical examiner should have identified it by now, unless... You suspect a designer drug, don't you, detective? Why is it you're only quick on the uptake when it suits you? Nothing else makes sense given what we know and what we don't. But the CDCA decriminalized and cataloged all recreational drugs. What the heck? CDCA, Contraband Decriminalization Acts. Sure. A series of laws that passed in the 2060s, so that would be 26 years ago, at the earliest, that decriminalized all narcotics use and established the Bureau of Narcotics Oversight to administer the production, licensing, distribution, and taxation of drugs across the country. All narcotics? I mean, I guess if your medical science is sufficiently advanced. What? What? Overwhelmed by civil unrest and eager to replenish government coffers? Okay, so back when the legalization of marijuana conversation was originally being had in California, there was this very funny situation that was being had where a lot of people were trying to have their cake and eat it too, right? So they were saying by legalizing marijuana, you can tax it. And then by taxing it, you can put that money back into the education system to inform people that marijuana is bad for you and that you shouldn't do it. And so obviously this is a double bind, right? This is diminishing returns. If successfully allocating funds to an education program that proves how bad marijuana is, then you would get less people using marijuana, which would mean that there's less for you to tax as the government. So that way, you know, you would not have enough money to be able to do it, right? That's the double bind. The idea that the government was like, fuck it, like, all narcotics are free game, besties. Like, just fucking do what you gotta. Very funny. Reduced the backlog of criminal cases across the country, provided much needed tax income, incentivizing immigration with the promise of amnesty. Insane. What was considered a domino effect, other major nations around the globe passed comparable laws to build up their own depleted war chests and revitalize their local economies. The so-called white wave of global amnesty overturned the international drug trafficking market in just a few short years. The gray wave followed soon after as money-starved criminal organizations waged economic and literal war against multinational corporations for dominance of this new gray market. Fierce competition for government licenses to produce classic narcotics emerged alongside a race to develop new, more powerful designer drugs and to monopolize their sale in the months it would take the government to identify and legalize them. While rates of addiction and overdose deaths have dropped since their peaks in the last 2 decades, the dangers associated with untested designer drugs and drug distributors' eagerness to earn new customers has continued to fuel debate over the legacy of the CDCA and the white wave as a whole. That's so funny. Okay, so that also explains the adrozone. I feel like it should be adrozone, whatever. right? Because like it's made by this criminal organization, the Skullhead Mafia. Noble comes in and sort of, well, not necessarily Noble, but a megacorp comes in, takes them out. I see it. Okay, sure. But the CDCA decriminalized and cataloged all recreational drugs. Guess you aren't entirely clueless about politics. So whatever Father overdosed on should have been in the hospital's database. You need to update your definitions. You're confusing designer drugs with recreational drugs. A custom-made recreational drug, typically psychoactive. In the literal sense, designer merely denotes any drug that is custom-made as opposed to mass-produced, typically outside of normal pharmaceutical industry standards. In common parlance, however, designer drugs, DDs, deeds, DEDs, are illicit narcotics formulated to produce a recreational high. While the CDCA and the white wave that followed it legalized and taxed virtually all known narcotics, they did so alongside extensive documentation and study, and those laws could only apply to drugs that already existed. Of course. Any drug patented after the white wave must go through approval processes and registration with national and international authorities, a time-consuming process that can take anywhere from 6 months to several years. This time lag creates a window of opportunity wherein organized criminal groups can step in to meet the demand for a narcotic. What has become known as riding the wave is the new norm for international drug trade, pitting mob chemists against corporate laboratories in a race to develop newer, more powerful, more easily habit-forming drugs and cornering the market on them before legislation catches up to them. Users also frequently search for, is Nerve legal yet? Best New Deads 2086. Nirvana designed by who? Okay, sure, there you go. Kurt Cobain. You're confusing designer drugs with recreational drugs. What is the difference? Recreational drugs are decriminalized and sold through pharmacies after years of testing and mountains of paperwork. While the average designer drug was invented last week in a 19-year-old line cook's bathroom on the other side of the globe. Hospitals can't know the proper countermeasures for an overdose of a drug that didn't exist 48 hours ago. I came across makeshift labs all the time when I was a uniform. The equipment's cheap and widely available. Black market cooks, gray market peddlers, white-collar lobbyists, all chasing each other's tails in a long line to find the next big hit. CDCA didn't change shit. More people die from ODs than ever before. The only difference is it's their families finding them in the living room, not beat cops finding them on street corners. Real comforting, I'm sure. If it wasn't you talking, I'd say that was a criticism of law enforcement. Not law enforcement, just a law. Oh, Reyes. Assuming it was a designer drug, that would certainly make things more complicated. For the insurance guys, maybe. For us, whatever he used to do it, he still killed himself. Or didn't kill himself, if you insist. I'm going to take a look around now. Yeah, sure, make yourself at home. What's that face for? I thought there would be an outline. An outline? Around where they found Father. Like in the movies? Like in film. Connect to the police's network and bring up their ARCS file. So we saw this in episode 0. It's like a virtual reality, not a virtual reality, augmented reality overlaid on top of it. Augmented reality crime scene, I see. Why do I even try to connect the dots myself? ARCS. There is an outline. And so this is where he died at the hospital. This is just where the medics found him. And it's the sensors and cameras they were wearing that create the basis for this ARCS. They didn't realize they were walking into a crime scene, but their body cams gathered data all the same. Where do we start? You can start by following behind me and trying to be as quiet as possible. I'm starting to get a feel for when she's pouting without even looking. Chess! It's time to tip the scales. No, that's not it. I'm trying to remember even a single Fire Emblem quote about chess. I can't do it. Placia means wide, wide road. He had the anime dead mom ponytail. I mean, listen, David Ashore can be gorgeous. That doesn't mean anything. Hey, Pixie, thank you for re-upping your sub with us. 31 months. Hope you're enjoying your lurk. It's good to see you, my friend. A chessboard and a data pad with a series of characters on it? E4, C5, NF3, E6, D4, CX-D4, NX-D4. So I was gonna say at the top it sounded like chess moves. This is... I thought it was a game. But NXD... Could you use it? Could you use chess pieces for a cipher? I know you can use a deck of playing cards. The solitaire cipher is like the infamous one for with cryptographers. Excuse me. My instinct was to say a game, but that doesn't make sense. What would NXD5 be? NXD5. N is sometimes used as a substitute for a variable. Oh, this sucks. This sucks. I want my social credit points. Because it's letters by numbers, right? Like that is the way it works. So E4 means you go down 5, go over 4. So NXD5 would be nothing, right? I'm gonna say a cipher. I'm probably overthinking it. It's probably a Ready Bloody chess game. And I'm gonna freaking scream. Some kind of secret message, perhaps, or... Black has checkmate in 40 moves. Oh! I hate video games, actually. Wow, a robot that's good at chess. We ought to put you in a museum. But I'll take your word for it. What do you mean? Do you not play Adonai? No, especially not against David. Well, that is to be expected. I know it was denoting a chess game at the start, but what does NXD? What is that notating? Anyone who challenged Father to a battle of wits would naturally grow tired of losing. Every game starts the same. Each player has the same pieces, the same moves, the same options. It's a true test of wit, strategy, and forethought. To me, it always seemed too organized, boring, too fair. The smarter player wins every time. And that is something you take fault with? Of course. How's a gal like me supposed to win a game like that? NXD5 means knight. Takes on D5. Frickle frackle. Oh. I know just enough to be stupid, but not enough to get my social credit points. Fine. Fine. Police androids monitoring the scene. Could almost mistake them for the real thing the way they stand there trying to look important. Give me my pity social credit points. Like an indoor dog taking its first trip to the park. Pardon? Why are you looking at it like you've never seen an android before? Because I haven't, in person. David didn't even let you have a mirror? Brutal. Just scan its gin if you're that curious. GIN. Unless that's considered too forward or whatever. I always admired this view. The buildings gleam with reflections of holograms and sunlight, and their shadows obscure all the run-down, rotting parts of town. Maybe the view's secondary. Maybe all anyone really wants is to put as much distance between them and the street level as possible. Is it possible that a witness could have seen something through these windows? Uptown. Not through these windows, no. David installed wide-spectrum auto tint in all his homes, all his cars. I didn't know that. Well, you wouldn't notice unless you were viewing the penthouse from more than... Why did he care so much about his windows? To not get shot at by a sniper? I don't know. One chair knocked over, probably where David was sitting, and one chair pulled out, a party of two. He never cared much for socializing, but he enjoyed hosting. Contradictory guy. Better take a closer look. This is not the same bottle of liquor. This is not the, like, me thinking of Jack Daniels. This is like Rose River whiskey, 12 years old. You recognize it? Sure. He was more than partial to the brand. It's a good brand, only a bit overpriced, which is the bargain of a lifetime in David's world. It appears that the police have already tested its contents. No foreign matter present was their conclusion. Is it possible that the police missed the poison? No, even if they can't identify the poison, they can detect its presence by comparing samples of the whiskey to a bottle off the store shelf. So we can eliminate the possibility that the bottle of whiskey was poison. Whiskey... I do like this screen. This is very stylish. Okay. Confidential data. A bottle of Rose River whiskey found on the dining table at the scene of the crime. Forensic analysis shows no foreign elements or toxins, known to be a brand favored by the deceased. We'll have to find our smoking gun elsewhere. Password locked, but already cracked by the police, it seems. All the docs would take home safe, nothing spicy. When was it last used? 7:48 p.m. Still reading work emails only a few minutes before he committed suicide? Morbid. There's a lot of messages marked priority that breadcrumb their way back to an article. Oh, we've already read this. The warm android blood saves soldiers' life. It opened up its own arteries and pumped life-saving UD, universal donor, synthetic plasma into the young man's veins. Wait. Did we not read this? I thought we did. Warm android blood saves soldiers' lives. In a stunning and heroic episode, one of our nation's brave soldiers had their life saved by a noble android in a way that no other competitor's product could. A brave private, name withheld, was wounded during a military operation whose exact nature and location is currently classified. Bleeding badly and far from the nearest triage station, he was carried to safety by his fellow freedom fighter, an animate 16 enforcer, one of the few warm androids being currently tested out by the armed forces. But the android didn't just sit there and wait for evac. It opened up its own arteries and pumped life-saving UD, synthetic plasma, to the young man's veins, stabilizing him long enough for him to reach a military hospital. I have no doubt he'd be dead if there was any other android fighting alongside him, said one commanding officer who asked not to be named. I always thought Noble was only good at making ads that look good. Now I know they've got something inside them that no one else can compete with. The story brings a well-deserved shot in the arm to Noble's stock prices and market share. With this one heroic moment, Noble's warm androids have proven themselves to be worth their price tag and then some, and people in the capital are paying attention. Okay, I don't remember this sentence. I don't remember a reference to the capital, so this has to be new. Oh, I saw the headline, but not the article. Thank you, Ralph. It's certainly an interesting idea, Senator Mathing said when asked to about committing to a military contract for Noble to provide the armed forces with war models. This story's got people talking. I'm doing the same voice. This story's got people talking. If we just ignored our constituents' feelings on this matter, we'd be neglecting our duty as politicians. And I know none of my peers would ever try to put a price on the life of one of our soldiers. While additional details about the incident have remained closely guarded, the net is already ablaze with talk of, oh, damn, you're not logged into this device. Why don't you pop your user details down below and enable Chrome so you can get the user experience you deserve? This is that article I've seen been going around. Hold on. Oh, interesting, yeah. And we definitely only had 2 articles before. Hello, Senator Mathings. Listen, I don't want Penny having my crumbs, okay? But why would Noble have it marked as priority? Starling said they weren't in any rush to pat each other on the back over it, even though they'd won themselves a real prize. Easy PR, military contract. They hadn't won themselves a military contract. They said it was an interesting idea. Easy PR? But it's a megacorp. They can get easy PR whenever they want to. I guess in the same motion, it's a megacorp. Getting a military contract would be easy whenever they wanted to. I'm gonna go with easy PR. Here's the problem. I have overthought it every single time. The first time, when it was like what Lobos actually wanted, I overthought that. I overthought the chess game. Easy PR. Give me my social credit. It's a nice fat bump in PR for Noble. One of their ads saving a soldier's life. I hate video games. But with talks of military use, military contract is an inevitability. I'm really overthinking it. Hello, 4 Elemental. Welcome to the DeMaiste program. I've never overthought a single thing in my life. Guess more good press never hurts? Two cups, one empty, knocked over, and one mostly empty. The thing is, I would instinctively assume that the person who killed David was Morgan. And so removing Morgan from the equation because she seems genuinely surprised, my next assumption is Sarah. And we know Sarah can lie. We had an establishing shot of Sarah lying. But would they put a hat on a hat like that? These look cheap. Did his guest bring them? I've seen them before in the basement liquor cabinet. Yeah, Morgan, you've already commented on his sentimentality for university. He kept these lying around. I knew he regifted those crystal glasses I got him. Ark says there's nothing foreign in the upright one, so it can't have been poisoned. Results are inconclusive on the other cup, however. Looks bone dry. Must have been nothing but fumes left by the time this was considered a crime scene. Just not enough for them to test. Inconclusive could mean... Inconclusive means inconclusive. That's all. Cheer up and read me the results of the fingerprinting. Father's prints are on both cups as expected, but there are someone else's on the upright cup, so someone must have been with him last night. Slow down. All that proves is that someone else touched the cup. Doesn't tell us when they did it. And since we don't know who the prints belong to... I think I made a comment during episode 0 about how it's strange that Morgan doesn't just burn her fingerprints off. But I remember in episode 0, Morgan commenting on it and just being like another moment of like, I do really appreciate the writing of this game. Adonai, why don't we know who the prints belong to? Are the prints flagged as unidentified or? No, there's space for a name, but the field is black. Redacted! Yeah. Am I already that late to the action? Detective Reyes. Yeah. There's a second set of prints on the cup. Is there a form you'd like me to sign? Doesn't matter how nicely you ask, sometimes people just can't answer. You should know that damn well, Madam Counselor. I was afraid you'd say that. I don't understand, Adonai. What does this mean? Matter of state security? It means that whomever those prints belong to has very proactive representation. Oh. What? Those prints belong to a witness, as you've guessed. You're more than welcome to their testimony. But their identity is... The department is being very considerate of the witness's privacy out of respect for their time and appreciation for their cooperation. So not state noble? Fine, forget the name. That easily. Subpoenas are always an option, but I'm short on time. I'm gonna read this, just in case there's anybody out there who hasn't actually read a Black's Law dictionary, but... Subpoena. Now, a court order compelling attendance or evidence. A legal order issued by the state on behalf of the prosecution or the defense that compels the addressed party to give testimony, provide information, or turn over evidence. Failure to comply with the subpoena will result in being charged with contempt of court. If I overthought it, I wouldn't be able to make it through this game. 4 Elemental. It took me 6.5 hours to get through episode 0. Bonus stuff isn't that important. The game is great. It is so good, yeah. What did the witness have to say for themselves, detective? To paraphrase, they came to see Dr. Assure last night, the two of them talked, and they had a drink together. Then the doctor got sick, so they activated the emergency system from the panel in the kitchen. Okay, but that corroborates what we know. There was an emergency call made from inside David's quarters. The EMTs came and took them both to the hospital. Assure's condition got worse. All of the witness's vitals were normal. The witness had their vitals taken. Then there should be a record of their admission at Gatesfield. And that's it. I'm guessing you didn't just take all of that on faith. Penumbra's set up in most of the rooms on this floor. Everything the witness told us was corroborated by the building's own surveillance system. So, yes, we can guarantee that the witness never put anything into Assure's drink. I'm guessing that I can't have the keys to the penumbra, can I? Not until the witness's lawyers are done reviewing it. Lawyers, plural? I don't have time to trade jabs with the law offices of Johnson, Johnson, Johnson & Johnson. Say, how about I give you the business card? The law offices of Kochler, Gustav, Prince & Prince. It was close. No way I'll be getting any client information out of them directly. If all you bloodsuckers want to get together and tear each other apart, text me before you start. I'd like to watch. Yeah, I bet you like to watch. What? What does that even mean? He's not actually 15 years old, right? We don't get years. Reyes has to be... I don't think Reyes is a child genius. Reyes has to be an adult. It's just really serving her V card. I don't know. Needed a moment to think. What do you mean you don't know, Morgan? You just accused her of being a... Well, maybe I'm not allowed to say that on Twitch, actually. So that's it. One chat, one peek at the cams, and you've already eliminated them as a suspect? Look. They were searched. They didn't have any poison, any drugs, not even a stick of gum. Even if they somehow did have poison on them, the camera footage confirms they had no opportunity to use it. They drank from the same bottle as a dead man. As far as the department's concerned, they were nearly the second victim. But they aren't dead, or even ill from the sound of things. So you think he poisoned his own cup beforehand, then poured for the both of them from a safe bottle? That's what the evidence is telling us. There's nothing in the bottle or the witness's cup. Plastic cup with a small amount of whiskey left in it, found upright at the dining table at the scene of the crime. Saliva and fingerprints match an unknown individual. Contains no traces of foreign evidence. Sure. But after drinking from his cup, a cup he prepared himself, he fell ill and the witness didn't. And Assure died from a foreign substance in his body. An unidentified foreign substance. Suicide by poison. I get that you were close and simple explanations aren't all that satisfying, but that's life. The irony, Wirebone, of you saying Reyes is meant to be a young, naive, college fresh graduate age, and Reyes telling Morgan, that's just life sometimes. One last thing. You just said he prepared his cup himself. Did you see that on camera? He left the parlor to get the drinks and came back with his already poured. So that's the eye patch is her using her mod there, I believe, right? The witness says he got them from the basement. The witness says that, not the cameras. There's no cams in the lab or the basement. That seems like a security hazard. Why would Noble not set things up more carefully? It's intentional. If cams of his lab ever got hacked, outsiders could steal his IP and kick Noble's monopoly to the curb. Right. David did complain about Noble's weird protocols for combating corporate espionage. Is it that weird? At least we can take comfort in knowing that Father wasn't alone when he died. Yeah, that's worth investigating. Okay, these are the statements that we just got. Made by the singular witness to David Assure's suspected poisoning and death, corroborated by video evidence. Witness arrived at 7:30 p.m. Witness spoke with David Assure in his parlor before he left to retrieve liquor from his basement at 7:36. Upon returning at 7:38 p.m., the two of them continued speaking while they both drank. David Assure felt lethargic and disoriented shortly after. 8 p.m. David Assure lost consciousness at 8:03 p.m. EMS were called from the emergency console in the kitchen at 8:04 p.m. David Assure and the witness were taken to Gatesfield Memorial Hospital at 8:08. Spilled alcohol. The arc shows how it looked last night before it evaporated. No foreign substances in the puddle. It's clean. So does that mean wherever the spill came from must be clean as well? That feels spurious at best. All right. We got the last thing to check, which is the body, and then we are going to unfortunately have to end stream today. Sorry about it being 2 hours, folks. I want to keep going as well, but you know the drill. I got to go back to work to for Tethies pretty early tomorrow morning, so that means an early night for me. It says here that when the medics arrived, he was on the floor, face up. Does that tell you something? Hey, if you were not an ad and could be poisoned, if you were going to drink a glass of poison, would you be sitting or standing when you did it? I find it very difficult to speculate on that hypothetical scenario. The seat by his body is pulled out. If he was seated when he lost consciousness, I would expect to find him slumped over on the table, but he wasn't found slumped over. Oh, but he wasn't found slumped over. No, he wasn't. And if he had been standing when he lost consciousness, I would think he would have fallen forward or at least collapsed less neatly. This is my dying pose. It is me, noble genius David Assure. I am assuming the dying position. So what can you conclude from that, Adonai? Only that I'm missing something. Seems like that's everything critical on this side of the room, which leaves the kitchen. You said there's camera footage of the dining room showing David and his guest. What about in here? Only camera in the kitchen is the one mounted on the call terminal. The console took a snap image when the witness ran in to contact emergency services. May I see it? Not unless you scrape that witness's face off the pic first. Don't tempt me. So, unfortunately, friends, We're gonna speed run through these. I will have no observations, analyses, takeaway. We're just gonna read what's on the screen. We're gonna get through these, and then we'll pick up after this next time. 3 unwashed dishes and a single glass. Reyes, these dishes haven't been scanned for prints yet. And I just assumed you might want to do your job. Yeah, there are prints. Most match the victim. But there's also... Huh. Hey! Don't sneak up on me like that. All I did was walk over to you. You knocked over the salt, Adonai. I was focused on the task at hand. Didn't realize tunnel vision was a selling point on your mod. Adonai, the salt. Salt? As I was saying, the witnesses' prints are on that glass. That glass in the sink. They were drinking from cups in the park. Did you see a glass on camera? No. So when did they touch this glass? There's the DNA and fingerprints of an unknown witness, no trace of any poison. You need to toss it over your shoulder, or it's bad luck. Oh, that's funny. Witness must have thought about giving the guy some water, but he would have just choked on it if they had tried. What, you think this glass was the murder weapon? It's bad luck, Adonai. It would be very funny if we find out it's not salt, but it's some drug, right? Whacked him on the back of the head so fast it went between video frames? That's genius. You should go through the footage frame by frame to prove your theory. Mature. It's bad luck. Oh, the salt shaker is a thing. The salt shaker is gonna be it. It's the fucking drugs and the salt, baby. A salt shaker that was accidentally knocked over during the investigation. The whole cap fell off, spilled salt across the kitchen counter. Omen of bad luck, according to some. It might also be nothing. I'm willing to accept that. I am too eager to jump at every possible variable. But anyways, okay. I said that I was going to do all of them. I think we're going to be able to do one more. Messy workspaces, but a pristine kitchen. David was a good cook, but only for others. Unless he had a guest, he'd happily eat instant ramen and protein bars for all 3 meals. Or 2, or 1. I always eat 3 meals, and I always eat instant ramen. No signs of food prep to be found. Not so much as a cheese board. So whoever this guest was, they must have shown up unannounced. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do all of them. This is where the emergency call was made. What time did the call go out? 8:04 p.m. We already got that from the witness testimony. Before you asked, the witness left the parlor at 8:03 p.m. Not enough time for them to alter the scene. I wasn't going to ask that. When did the medics arrive? 8:08 p.m., remember? Hell of a response time for a penthouse. How is it a blind playthrough if the monitor is turned on? Holthran, such an excellent point. I'll go get a blindfold, and then you guys can just do a Twitch plays. Private EMS came by air. Yeah, we know that they did a VTOL. Yeah, they landed on the VTOL pad you saw outside, took him to Gatesfield. The very best if you can afford it. Oh, Reyes. Looking around here, seems like you could afford a lot. He got his insurance through his employer, just like most people. Caduceus Executive Plan 4 isn't like most people, counselor. Oh, Reyes. This is very Shadowrun. This isn't a Caduceus, is it? It's an Asphodeus. That's not the right term, but like the twin snakes, we've incorrectly identified that as a symbol that it isn't. Whatever. David assures health insurance policy with Caduceus, paid for through Noble Electronics, includes private EMS services on standby. Caduceus only offers 3 levels of employer-provided plans that outrank it. 3 levels? Jesus. So you could go up to 7? He had executive level, not like most people at all. Okay, and then the door, and then we're out of here. The door, and then we're out of here. David's fridge. Normally I wouldn't go poking in a pantry at a crime scene, but this was a poisoning. Some white wines chilling in the drawer, some real cheap liquor stuffed in the icebox. Old habits. Reyes, you said he left the parlor and came back with that whiskey from the basement? Huh? That's what the cams show, yeah. There's plenty to drink right here, and unlike the cabinet downstairs, it's actually cold. You must have wanted Rose River in particular. What's that look for? You hungry? I am an android. I do not get hungry. Are you being sarcastic? Only mostly. I thought you said you required organic nourishment. I do ingest organic substances, but that doesn't mean that I experience hunger as you do. So when you don't ingest organic substances for a long time, you... God, it's so funny. I don't like, because like, obviously I don't want Sarah to become anything like Morgan, but also, I become tired. What a great feature. And when I'm done digesting, I don't need to know. You've now had the chance to survey the crime scene. Yeah. So do you think you know what happened? And we'll find out if she does next time, folks. Thank you all so much for being here and for hanging out. I do greatly appreciate it. Obviously, again, all of the previous playthroughs are on the Twitch VOD here. Twitch VOD? Twitch collection here. But there are previous streams that you'll be able to check out. Episode 0 is on our YouTube, youtube.com/@DeMaiste, because YouTube is extra. But I will catch you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. Bye!